Welcome, Sally. Okay, we're just about to start. Okay, so today's session, TA Training 11, is about websites and storage. Okay, so yeah, the time has changed now. In the UK, we are now 1 hour earlier. So the UK is now the same time as Senegal, and it used to be the same time as Nigeria. This changes. Right, let's have a look at what we're going to do. We're going to look at the importance of websites and other storage, how to set up a website, and how to store on other things as well. And any questions you've got at the end, very welcome to ask and we can go over them. Okay. If you need some extra help afterwards, I must admit I am not a website expert. But one of the points I'm going to make quite strongly is that you need to get somebody who can help and can understand. But I can help with Google Drive, YouTube, storage on WhatsApp, Slack, and all the other ones. So let's start. First thing, why do you think it might be a good idea to have an English Language Teaching Association website? Would you like, as there's so few of us today, would you like to unmute and tell us some of the benefits? Anybody?
Hi, Linda. I think it's good for.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's good for exposure and being able to advertise any materials or the stuff that you do, being able to advertise. So yes. I think a website is very good in terms of advertising.
Yes, and the other thing about visibility, and it shows that you are an active teacher association, doesn't it? And that the website travels across the world just like that, and it's got all your stuff on it. Yes, excellent. Any more ideas from anybody? Why should you have a website?
It also helps. It also helps in communication among members.
How?
Of the association.
How?
They can easily reach out when they have a challenge and they get somebody to answer them. Yes. If there's a website.
Okay, good. If you've got the contact details of the association there, yes, great. It's actually easier and quicker probably to do that via Facebook or WhatsApp or Telegram if you've got one of those groups, isn't it? Because it's more direct and immediate. But it is a central point, isn't it, of all the teacher association contacts, and it's the place you go to get help and to ask about information. Any other benefits? Anybody? Good evening, Fozia as well, and Sally. Good evening, and Abby and Gizachu. Good evening and welcome. Lubna, what do you think?
I think it's good for news, getting new news. For example, when I connect to the British Council or English Connects, so I can get the news about English trends and so on. So yes. This is one of the benefits.
Yeah, it's great, isn't it? Because you can update it and have all your latest stuff on there. Yeah, in fact, there are so many benefits. Somebody else raised a hand. I saw somebody else and then it went. Sally.
It's also a good way to store information. So others who come in after this, the people who are currently running the association will always know what has happened in the past.
Exactly. And it's not just for the future teacher association people, it's also for the present ones, and it's also for all these big funders like the British Council, like IATEFL, TESOL, Department of Education, all of these things, Hornby, they all check you out with your website. So this is how you put all your events on there, all your YouTube videos, webinars, actions, reports, everything. So it's a brilliant repository as storage. Okay, I have here, this is actually from ChatGPT, I think. It's 16 key benefits of a teacher association having a website. So if we have a little look through this, there's information hub. Yeah, we've had that point. Membership engagement, and you can have sections just for members in forums or discussion boards for communication. Resource repository, yes, as Sally said, keep all your stuff there. Event promotion, yes, that's what Masubuleli said at first. Networking opportunities, it's up to you what you put on your website. You could put directories of jobs, forums, chat rooms, people connecting with different people. Professional development, you can offer courses, webinars, tutorials. Advocacy and support, number 7, that could be linked to a teachers' union, or it could be information about a policy, or, for example, your teacher association policies. Number 8, this, visibility, which is really important to show the world you have a teacher association. Job postings, you can, if you want. Collaboration, joint things with other groups. Feedbacks, you can get surveys and feedback forms, Google Forms, for example. You can get people to pay online, number 12. You can get them to pay their membership fee and then become a member online through specific forms. The global reach of the website is really important. Of course, it goes anywhere, click of a button. Professional image, it really makes your teacher association look professional if you've got a nice website. Cost efficiency can save you money, and of course continuous updates, so you can get updates on there all the time, as Lubna said, and find out what's the latest thing. So I hope I have convinced you that having a website would be a good thing. Okay, the first thing then, let's have a look at some of these examples. Now we're going to look first at this page, which is on Africa Teaching English. I'm going to have to stop sharing and share again because it doesn't go through properly. Right. Now, if you've looked on the Teaching English Africa site, there is a section there. Can you see my page on teacher associations? I think you can.
Yes,
Yes.
I can see it. I can see it. Lilian.
Good, good. If you go to the section on teacher associations, it's got the information all about them, and it's got all the contact details. So you need to check that yours are up to date. Cameroon's got a lot. Gabon, Ghana, Mozambique, Zambia, that's page 2. And page 1 is a lot more. Yep, Ethiopia's there. It's got ELPA, but not CELPA. Maybe you could contact them. Nigeria, South Africa, Senegal, Sudan. Okay, all there, great. But hardly any websites. So hardly any of these teacher associations have got a website. So if you want to find out about them, you have to email them or maybe look at their Facebook and you might get some information there. It's not nearly as good, is it, as getting an actual website. Let's have a look at a couple of these. Cameroon, first of all. Now they have a website, do they? Yes. Oh no. Oh, so that must be out of date. We've got this one from Ghana. Okay, this one called IELTA Ghana. And if you're going to do a website, then have a look at as many as possible. So you see what you want, what type of thing you want, what you want to include on it. So this one, IELTA Ghana. Down the left-hand side, you've got, the information. You've got the history. So a nice introduction, the mission statement, the vision statement, the objectives. That's all very good, isn't it, for people to see. You've then got the board of directors, nice photos of everyone. So everyone knows who is in particular roles. And then you need to update that every time you have an election. academic department, dashboard, regional coordinators as well, which is great. And so people in the regions of the country can contact these people if they have the contact details. I don't think they do they? Now, the contact details there would be very good. But again, at the bottom, you got get in touch, and these are phone numbers, address, and email addresses. They've also got how to join, which is really, really useful, because you might get teachers anywhere in your country that want to join, don't know how to. And here you've got a very nice, clear description, instructions of how to join, and then click here for the membership application form. So you can click onto different forms. Okay, so that's the Ghana one. Let me just have a look at. Okay, let's go to this. Camelta actually have two. Camelta in Cameroon have two websites, these two here. One is the old one and one is the new one. I think I'll take you to the new one, this camelta.org, because it's very impressive. And I'll stop sharing this one. Sorry, I have to keep jumping about between the two. Yeah. Okay, so in a second, you'll be able to see this. Now, isn't this a lovely website? So you can see the pictures moving in, beautiful pictures of the whole of the executive committee, pictures of their events. It's a lovely website. You click on it to learn more. They've got loads of things, pictures of all their events, PowerPoints of all the events, calendar. But then if you look down the bottom, explore the world, what language is that underneath explore the world? That's a totally made up language. It looks a bit like Latin. In fact, some of it is Latin, but the rest of it is made up. And this is the plan of the website, and they haven't got round to changing it yet. So you can tell when a website is still being created by they have this funny language, which, yeah, it's not giving any information. Same as with the projects here. They've got that funny language there. Loads of lovely photos, but they need to put their language on there as well. Okay, so we've looked at a couple. Let's have a look. And there's another one. The older one there, the older Camelta one, the Weebly site, that's another type of website. They have a lot of their old training events and reports on their old training events there. So it's very useful to have a look. What do you do then? Make a website. So this is just the overview, and then we're going to look at each of these 9 stages separately. So 8 stages. The first one is to find a website creator. Now, this is not a person. This is a system on the internet, something like Wix or Weebly that I mentioned just now. One of those, it's something that creates a website for you with your instructions. So I will recommend one in a minute, but there are loads of them. The second thing you need to do is to get someone who can understand what to do. Now, this is vital. As I said before, I am not a website expert. My daughter, however, is. She did a master's in computer programming, and she can make a website in a few minutes, probably. And she understands all about it. But I can't offer her services to you because she is very, very busy, obviously. What's ideal is somebody related to you, somebody in the family, a daughter, a son, a nephew, a cousin, somebody who has a little bit of free time, or somebody who's a student who you could pay a little bit of money, who would like this to go on their CV. It might be that you are an expert yourself. Excellent, brilliant. But you might need a couple of people to help you understand what to do. Number 3, examples. You have to see lots of examples. For example, the Camelta one, the Ghana one. We'll look at a few more in a minute. You need to get all your photos together of the committee, photos of teaching, photos of schools, make it look lively, make it look beautiful. Best way is to take the photos yourselves. Then you don't have any issues with copyright. Number 5, you need to get the written content together. What do you want written on your website? As you saw from the other examples, you could have anything written there if you want to. There's no rules. You decide, you write it out, decide on the pages and sections. So you have to plan what you want. Now, the problem is the domain name. Now, if you can pay for a domain name, you can add that. But if it's something you need to pay for and your teacher association doesn't have the money, you might need to do it with your own name and not have a domain name. I'll explain more about that in a minute. In the perfect world, your website would be called, for example, sudanelder.com or sealper.co.et, something like that. Okay, but it costs money to buy that domain name, and it's probably not worth it for a teacher association. There are ways around it. Let's have a look at some of them. When you've got all your pages, sections, photos, written content, you've got it all looking the way you want it, you've still got to check the formatting, because when you have a website, of course, it works in both laptop and phone, smartphone versions, and you've got to click on lots of things to make sure the formatting works both ways. And before you start sharing it, you've got to get feedback from lots of other people on your website to improve it. I'm very happy to give feedback on your websites and to tell you what else you should have or could have, or I don't know, errors in English or things that don't make sense or anything like that. I'm very happy to look at yours once you've done them, but you need to get them done. This is the main stages. Let's have a look at them in detail now. Website creators, and again, they're not humans, they are systems. You can pay a huge amount of money to have a website created professionally. If you go to a website creator, a human or a company, they will charge you hundreds or thousands of pounds or dollars, because they are experts, because they will do it beautifully, because it's a good skill to be able to do. But you can do it yourself, because there are these many online website creators. If you Google website creators, you can see and compare all of them. But to save you all that trouble, why not go straight to Wix? Because Wix is one of the best. And that's the one my daughter uses, and she has made loads of websites. And if you need, it's got all the instructions on there on Wix, but you might not be able to understand them all immediately. So what young people do, and what everyone needs to do, to learn to do, to be able to understand these better, is to use Google and YouTube to get more instructions. For example, there's this site, websiteplanet.com, and it says on it, create a Wix website in 3 steps, and it only takes 10 minutes. I think that's a bit of an exaggeration. I know it would take me a lot more than 10 minutes, and I might give up, but I'd need somebody to help me work through it, because I'm not used to working with websites. But you see, some people could do it in 10 minutes. I think more like 3 or 4 hours. You need some time to do it. So you need to go to that website and start following the instructions. Yeah, get someone who knows how to do it, who can understand it. And I think most people, you can find somebody who knows about websites nowadays, do you think? Young people are born into the website generation. They're not afraid of websites. Lots of people are studying computer programming at university. People who are confident doing things online. Ask them to help, do it together with somebody else. You need some support, I think, with this. all the instructions are on the Wix site. You just need to follow them. But again, you probably will go wrong. Don't worry if you do make mistakes. You can correct the mistakes afterwards. Okay, so this is really important, isn't it, to have someone who knows what to do, and it might be you. How many of you, put your hand up or put in the chat, how many of you would be confident creating a website yourself? Yes, Mrs. Sadio from Senegal, among the TA members you might find an expert. Excellent. Yes, so you could ask and see who can do it. Maybe we can be able to give you some free entry or free membership in return, that sort of thing. Who can help us? Yes. I think university students, you can learn. Yes, of course you can. Yes. And if you've got time, Masibuleli, yes, your thumbs up. You can, Sally as well. Sally would like to ask a question, or are you saying you can understand websites?
Yeah, I could try.
Yes.
I'm learning it.
Try. Learning it. Great, good. The best thing is, I think, is to get somebody to help you. Doing it alone is very isolating. Getting somebody else to help is good. And if there are a couple of you working together from here, from this group, you could check with each other and see how far you've got. Yeah. Okay. So you then need to look at as many examples as possible. These first two websites there are the websites that my daughter made when she was less busy. Okay, so the first one, let's have a look at these, is the EltaGB Wix site. And this was a few years ago. Let me just share it here. Okay, EltaGB is the teacher association in Guinea-Bissau. And when my daughter created this, she could get rid of her name in the domain name. And if you look at the top, the address here is eltagb1.wixsite.com/eltagb. Okay, so it's a really good website name. That is going to be that forever. It's a shame they haven't updated their website for quite a while since she did it in 2018, 2019. But let's just have a look at what you can do with a simple homemade Wix site. So they've got along the top the different pages that you can click on. They've got a lovely photo of all the teachers, the name, the logo, and then a description of what is EltaGB. That's a conference. Oh yes, it's very, very good. Pictures on the back of people's heads. If you take pictures of the back of people's heads, you don't need their permission to publish the photos, especially when you're dealing with children and you're taking photos of classrooms. You need to get the permission of the parent or guardians if you're going to post pictures of the children publicly. So, of course, the best thing is to take pictures of the teacher, maybe, with their permission, and the back of the children's or the teacher's heads. Okay, there's a nice introductory chapter, and then you've got more sections to click on at the bottom. You've got events. Each of those has pictures, more about the National Convention. And then this was where they started to store all their resources and links. They've got obviously their associate member of IATEFL with a list to prove that. So this is good to to tell people who you are. Lots of resources that we made in their WhatsApp group. So Word documents, and of course anyone can look at these and use them. Word document, lesson plans, texts. Then we got a Hornby grant to work on a new secondary English curriculum, and all the materials for that are on the website. All the curriculum overview, syllabus grades, lesson materials, training session. It's all there for everyone to see. Okay, so a lot of resources on there. Okay, so that website was 2018. I'm going to show you the other one now. And the other one was the one that my daughter made for NYETSA. Now, this hasn't been updated recently, but let me show you. Okay, this was a few years ago. And when my daughter started making one for NYETSA, she found out that you cannot anymore remove your name from the name of the website. So if you look in the top left-hand corner here, she's got her name still on the NYETSA website, which is a shame because it used to be able to remove that. Now, what NYETSA can do now, if they want to keep this website, they could either buy a new domain name or create a whole new website, or keep this one. Nobody knows who Michelle Ruas is. And of course it's got NYETSA in it, but this is the downside of a free system. You have to have some things that are not perfect. Okay, so again, a lovely logo. Welcome to NYETSA. About the association, pictures of the team, pictures of events, information about NYETSA. They've put their constitution on there, which is lovely. So all the members can read the constitution and write comments, which is nice. Other events here. And the publications. So the NYETSA Mirror, the newsletter, that's there as well. I think they've had more than that, and they haven't added them there. And then a membership form. So this is a really nice central place to have your membership form. You've got the bank account details, click here to register, and the membership benefits. Now, as I say, this hasn't been updated recently, and I'm not sure, I don't know, Masubuleli, if you know whether this is still in use or they're going to update it. But
yes, Linda, it is still in use. But I just wanted to find out, do you have probably fees that you pay on a regular basis if you go the route of actually paying for it, so that you have maybe a nice, well updated and you know, state of the like 21st century website? So
well, if you want a very, very slick flash website, then you're going to have to pay a lot of money probably. Yeah, these are the ones that you create yourself, so they are functional and they serve all their purpose, but they're not all flashing. Well, you can pay huge amounts of money to get really, really good websites, but this one works. Yeah, I know teacher associations don't usually have too much money, do they? This is the problem.
No, we don't, and we don't have a lot of money, and we want to actually focus on also developing and upskilling our teachers. So the little you have, you try to make it possible that you have some webinars, any kind of development for your teachers. So it can't go into developing a website.
No, exactly. That's exactly what I think. Because if you spent all the membership fees on developing a flash website just to look good, that's not very good, is it? Much better to put the money back into the teachers. But this website, it works, it's great, but it does need updating. And the one problem is the name. It's not ideal, but if you want to develop the website further, you can buy a domain from somebody else. Jacqueline, you have a question.
Yes. Well, the thing is with the NYETSA website, I just wanted to know who has the domain rights to actually make the changes now, because I know your daughter created it, and we would like to update it.
Yeah, Rodell.
Rodell does have it. I know that, but
yes.
In terms of how many people, do you know how many people can have access to update at a certain time? Does it have to be one person who's in charge? How does this Wixit work?
I think if you give people your password, it can be as many people as you want.
So would it work a bit like Facebook and updating a Facebook page?
Yes, 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 yes. Yeah.
Okay,
So you
because
need
then
to
we can
talk to
update
Adele
it.
about this. Yeah, yeah. It's, as long as you have
Right.
the password, you just log in and then you can follow the instructions and upload things.
Because
Yeah.
at the moment they're just trying to think about whether they want to update this or try to get one now where the name Nayetsa is there, so somebody can just click on Nayetsa and go straight to the site instead of, you know, having
So,
that issue
I know,
with
I know,
another
I know.
name in
And I
between.
know that is the problem. I know, and it's not
Yeah.
ideal.
So,
Yeah. Okay.
all
So
right.
yeah,
Thank
they
you,
need.
Linda.
That's fine. That's great. Okay.
Can
Let's
I ask
carry
a
on.
question?
Yes, of course.
Anita?
Here's a two. Yes.
Yeah, I didn't properly follow you when you were talking about, I mean, types of websites. This website with domain names and free website. I mean, what exactly is the difference? Like you said, we cannot afford to pay for a domain. And in any case, if, for example, for some organization or anyone who wants to help us with this promises to pay for us for this service, who are we going to contact? I mean, is it the telecom service provider that
No,
we
no, it's
request?
not. No,
I mean, the
no,
domain
no.
name from?
No. You can do it all through the website creators like Wix site. So you don't need anybody else at all. But you can get a domain donated, or you can get a business to sponsor you, to give you a domain name. The domain names, if you want your own domain name, you have to buy it and you have to pay money every year to pay for this. I think Lubna, in Sudan, you got somebody to agree to give you a domain name, I think, did you? And then you didn't get a website in the end, but we will work on that sometime in the future. But if you have people like the Department of Education, people like the Reload, for example, they might say, yes, okay, we'll buy you a domain name. Okay, so there is the idea of an organization or sponsorship. If you include information and advertising for a particular company, then they might say, yes, we'll sponsor this. If you have 500 members, they'll all be seeing our products. That's worth it for us. There are ways around it. Okay, but
I see.
as always, we're working on a budget, aren't we? This is all voluntary and it's all helping teachers. So I don't think you need the best state-of-the-art things. But yeah, if you have a look on my screen here, so this is what I was explaining here in red. It used to be possible to remove the author's name from the web address, but now you need to pay. And these things happen with updates with these website creators. Things change. Okay. Another one to look at is the Africa ELTA website. I'm sure you've all seen that one. It's a really nice one. And I think they've paid money for that, obviously have to get the domain name. And they add all their conferences and updates, their membership, everything. Also have a look at the websites from IATEFL's special interest groups that we looked at a couple of weeks ago. Those websites have a huge amount of resources, the logos, the pictures, and you can see what sort of thing is possible, what sort of thing that you want. Okay. Here is about the content. So you have to decide this, I think, as a teacher association. You can't do it one person. So maybe have a meeting, have a couple of meetings, work through it in a WhatsApp group. What photos are you going to put on? As I said before, it's best if you take the photos yourselves, then there'll be no problems with copyright. And again, be careful if you're using photos of children, because this might require written permission. It's because it's a public web page, so you can't have photos of people all over it who haven't given their permission. The photo at the bottom there is fine because it's the backs of children's heads, and the ones in the background are slightly blurred anyway, so that's acceptable. Make sure you always take lots of good photos of your events. Photos on a phone are fine. Action photos are great. Photos from the back of the room are great. Photos of some of the materials are great. Keep them all, and then you can upload them to websites. You have to decide and agree on what to write and which sections or pages you'll need. I would recommend storage, place for newsletters, a place for publications, and a place for promotion of events as a minimum. But again, you decide. Yeah, again, back to this idea of the domain, which is the complex bit. Yeah, the Wix creator no longer offers the option to choose your own domain name. You can add your ELTA name to it, so it's there anyway, like the Nayetsa one. Nayetsa is on it, it's just unfortunately got Michelle Ruis's name on it as well. Or you can pay for a domain and add that, or you can find sponsorship for the domain. You can ask the British Council. I've never heard of them paying for a domain for a teacher association, but you can ask. You can ask the RELO. You can ask the Department of Education. You could get a plan together and say, look, we need this for this and this and this, and these are all the benefits. There are so many benefits. Is it possible for you to sponsor a domain name? And again, it could be a company. It could be a bank. It could be a mobile company. It could be a publishing company, something related to the Teacher Association who you might have a link to that might be able to sponsor it. Check the formatting. I mentioned that before. And number 8, getting lots of feedback. You're not going to get it right first time. You will need feedback. So questions like, is it clear? Can people find things easily? Is the language correct? Does it look good and attractive? And you'll need to go back to it several times. Don't just think Saturday afternoon, we get the website ready and it'll be finished. No, this is a project that will go on over, I don't know, maybe a few weeks or a month, depending on how much time you've got. And you'll always be improving it and formatting it. Do you think it looks possible? Do you think it looks like something you'll be able to do? We'll chat about that in a minute. I got a bit more here from ChatGPT. Again, my friend, I've been looking up all of these things here. So ChatGPT says that Wix is the user-friendly drag and drop website builder. So user-friendly, meaning it's not that difficult to use, one of the easiest ones. And then Weebly, another word there, intuitive. It means that it predicts what you want, and it's got a free plan and a low-cost plan, so you can decide which one you want. Ideally, you don't want to spend any money at all, so ideally you go with a free plan if you go with Weebly. There are other systems like these content management systems, WordPress, Joomla, Drupal, open source, if you understand about those, or get anyone to build one from you for that. And number 3, these are the free hosting and domain options. I must admit, I don't really understand this. If you do, or if you get somebody who understands it, then yeah, go for it. So free domain extensions from something called Freenom, and you can get these domain extensions with TK, ML, GA. You have to know what you're doing a bit to do that, I think. You can get website templates, free or cheap, to save time and money. Or if you don't need the template, you can copy and paste from other websites that you like and then theme them. Again, number 5, there's lots of DIY learning. So there's lots of online resources, for example, in YouTube, free courses that help you understand what you're doing. Always go to YouTube. I don't know if your children tell you this, but whenever I want to know anything about IT, my daughters both said to me, "Oh, Mum, YouTube it." So this is what everyone does nowadays. Number 6, outsourcing to freelancers or students. Students are probably going to be cheaper than professionals at their learning, and they're often just as good or even better and often have more time. Non-profit discounts. There are some that provide hosting free hosting packages, maybe for charities. Number 8, open source software, website building tools, to extend the functionality at low cost. That sounds like you're going to have to pay a little bit for that, but it might make it a more flashy website. Number 9, start with the essential features and build on it over time. This can help you manage costs while having a functional website. So it's recommending you start small with the basics and then add to it later. Important number 10 is to update regularly and maintain the website to prevent the expensive issues happening. I think Atis used to have a website and it's not functioning anymore. Is that true? I think we've got a couple of Atis Senegal people here. El Haj and Mrs. Sadiu. You used to have a website, is this right? No?
Yes, Linda,
Yes.
we had a website.
Yeah, and what's happened? Was it one of the free ones, or what happened to it?
I have no idea actually, but it's not being used very often. Okay. But we managed to send articles there for people to see, but it's not very much frequented. Okay. So this happens, doesn't it? Especially if it's one that you have to pay for, that there's no money to pay, so you can't upkeep it anymore. So it's better to have one that's free and it's going to be there all the time and update it, rather than having one that you have to pay costs. Okay, so apart from a website, we're going to look at just briefly a few other options of storing things centrally. Do you know any other options? Yes, you do. Of course you do. You know Google Drive, you know YouTube, you know WhatsApp and Telegram. I don't know if you know Slack. Have you ever used Slack? Now, all of these are good for particular things, but not for everything. So they have their role. Slack is particularly good for different projects because it's like a WhatsApp group. You don't have to give your own email address to be able to share information with others, and you can store lots of things related to one project. I wouldn't use Slack with more than a group of about 20 though, because it would get too messy. You wouldn't be able to find anything. Slack is ideal for small groups, 10, 15, 20, a course, for example, a short course, and then you leave it afterwards. Let's have a look. Yeah, so Slack, great for individual projects. YouTube, of course, we all know YouTube. It's great for videos, it's great for recordings, but can't do anything else. Of course, your teacher association can have its YouTube channel, but that's only for those recordings, webinars, etc. Google Drive, of course, you can have links to YouTube recordings. You can have links, you can put PDFs, PowerPoints, Word documents, anything else there, but it's a bit bland, isn't it? It's functional, storing things, great for courses, not so good for a teaching association as the only place to store things. And then, of course, WhatsApp and Telegram, you can store things on there and you can search for the PDFs, search for the PowerPoints, search for the links, for example, on there, but it's not very well organized. You can search for things, but you can't see everything like a website would present something a lot more professionally. Okay, we're going to have time for questions and discussion in a second. I just wanted to tell you that the next TA training sessions, 2 weeks' time, we're going to have a review on Sunday the 26th of all the TA training sessions so far. This one today is number 11, so we've had 11 so far. I'm just a little bit worried that we're going quite fast, we're moving on and forgetting about all those other ones. For example, publications. How is your teacher association doing with publications so far?
Okay, then we've got the social media, all those other things we've done. We're going to review all of those. So if you didn't come to the first ones, you're very, very welcome to come to that. Of course, I'm not going to expect you to have everything ready, but I'd like to find some updates and discuss and opportunities for questions. And we'll see how you're doing so far. We're only going to have one in December because after that it's Christmas. And the December one is especially for Christmas. It's money fundraising, not for Christmas, but for the Teacher Association. So fundraising Sunday the 10th, fundraising for your TA. And I would like you to tell me some ideas for next year. We'll start again in January. We'll have 2 a month. And any ideas you have, please tell me. Okay, that is all I have for today. All the other Teacher Association trainings, I feel comfortable that I can do myself. The only one I can't do myself is websites, but I think that's not a skill that everybody has. So I'm happy to tell you what to do. You go away, have a look, try them out, and then come back. Let's see if we have some questions. Masibuleli first.
Yes, Linda, 2 things. First, I wanted to find out if there is a way that we can access the previous recordings, because this is my first one and apparently there've been quite a number before. So if there is a way that we can access them. And then secondly, how do you ensure that your website is not overcrowded? Like, for example, at NAETSA, if we have like 7 executive members, I'm just making an example. So how do you make sure that you have maybe a website manager or something like that, where you have someone or maybe 2 people where they can be responsible for updating, for putting in events and all of that, instead of all of us going into the website? Thank you.
Yeah, it's probably not ideal to have everyone in one website. It's probably good to have 1 or 2 people who know what they're doing, and then everyone else send the stuff to them to update it. And then they can send comments as well. It's probably not a good idea to give the password to more than 1 or 2 people. So I think you need somebody in NAETSA, in each of your teacher associations, who's responsible for the website. Maybe the parent of the student who made it in the first place, so they can help. Depends on how you're doing this.
Probably.
Masibuleli?
Yeah, probably we'll get the parent.
Exactly. That's the good thing, isn't it? Yeah. I don't think it can be too crowded, because if you're thinking about a website, if it's looking too crowded, all you do is open another section, open another page that you click on a separate section. So it doesn't have to be crowded. Your other question about accessing the recordings of all the other sessions, if you give me your WhatsApp number in the chat, I will add you to the chat. We've got a WhatsApp group and we post all the recordings there. I can make a list in a Word document, or I can post them all there again for you. Okay, and then you won't miss anything else.
I'll put my number on the chat. Yeah. Thank you.
Great. I'll have a look and I'll add you later. Yeah. Okay. Fawzia, you raised your hand as well. What would you like to ask? Fawzia? You're mute. Can you unmute yourself? No? Okay, let's have Sally while we're waiting for Fawzia. Sally, please go ahead.
Okay, I want to ask, I don't think we have a Relo office in Nigeria. Is there a way we can reach them?
Well, you know that West and Central Africa, what was that, conference, online conference a couple of weekends ago? That was West and Central Africa. So I think the Relo there is the one in Senegal, who is responsible for Nigeria as well. I think so. But contact the Relo office in Senegal and ask. Maybe you can find it from the website. I'm not sure if there is one in Nigeria actually, but I know from that it was West and Central all together. I don't know if there's two or one Relos. I don't know much about the Relos anyway, but I do know there's one in Senegal.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Anybody else? Fozia? Oh, the host is not allowing you to unmute. Ooh, I will allow you to unmute. I've asked you. Can you unmute now, Fozia? I definitely haven't stopped you unmuting. I don't know what's going on there. Something strange. No? Would you like to write your question in the chat, maybe? Sorry. Right, I got your number, Masibuleli. Anybody else got any questions? Sorry about that, Fozia. If not, Fozia, you're very welcome to WhatsApp me later with your question. How many of you feel that you could go ahead and start a website now by looking at different people finding different people, finding different websites, looking at different things? Do you feel it might be possible? Nobody?
There's no harm in trying.
Blessing, great. Yes,
There's no harm in trying.
No harm in trying, exactly. But do it with somebody else. Get some people who know what they're doing. These are the keys. Yeah, try again and have a look and and see what other people can do. And I think it's a good idea of working together with other people in the group. Gizachu, would you like to ask a question? Or are you saying you feel confident?
Yeah, that's the second. Yeah,
you feel confident.
I hope we hope we'll try it out. We'll give it a try and see what's next.
Yeah,
and then seek expert support.
Great. Okay. Yeah, the problem is I won't be able to support you because I'm not the expert on websites, but you can find so many people in this world in 2023 who are experts and who can do it, especially young people. Okay,
yeah, we're really I don't know what to say. Sorry that your daughter is not able to help us. She has helped a few TAs. She has helped Sater.
I know, but that was before she became so busy. She's now very, very professional and so busy. I couldn't possibly.
I'm just kidding.
It would be ideal if she could do everybody's, wouldn't it? I know. Let's just check with Fozia once more to see if you can unmute. No, I'm sorry about that. I don't know why. It's if it's stopping you, it's nothing that I've done. Of course I wouldn't stop you participating. Okay, let's end there. We'll carry on in the WhatsApp group. I will post the recording. I'll post the slides and the participant list. Thank you all for coming so much and for your contributions. And I'll see you all again soon, in a couple of weeks.
Thank you very much, Linda.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.